Here's an interesting true story from just like 2 weeks ago. A friend of mine and fellow business owner hit me up like, yo, I think I have a lead for you. They're looking for email marketing services. Now, this is what every business owner wants, inbound leads. So once he gave me the info and made the necessary introduction, I came to find out this wasn't just any company. This was an 8-figure company, meaning they make $10 million plus a year. As I researched more in the company to prepare for my pitch meeting, I literally felt an increasing sense of doom. It's as though the more I learned about the company's size, the smaller I got. All of a sudden, panic, fear, and anxiety firmly settled in. And so with my heart racing and my mind pacing, I kept thinking to myself, I am in no way qualified to serve these guys. Now, keep in mind that I have actually worked with companies of this size before. I kept thinking I'm a fraud and they're going to find out. What can I possibly do to help them? They clearly already know more than I do, and so on. These kind of thoughts just kept circling my mind. Now, as I said before, it's not like I haven't worked with a company of this size before. It's just that I haven't done so as the leader of the entire operation. I've worked collaboratively with other leaders on similar size accounts, so technically I have the experience and the knowledge of how to serve a client of this size. The only difference here, if it actually matters at all, is that this would be the first time I was, quote, the boss, strategizing, managing the team, taking full responsibility and accountability for the entire operation. So even though I have the experience, in that moment, my brain was in full imposter syndrome mode. Now, if you've seen this video, remember I mentioned that imposter syndrome never really goes away. Yeah, this was an example. So what did I do? Well, first thing I did was I spoke to my number one help, my wife. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Proverbs 18 verse 22. Praise God for a great wife. Anyways, after speaking with her, she first of all reminded me of my previous experience and then went on to remind me of something else I had forgotten in that moment. She asked me a simple question. She asked, do you know anyone who can help you? And it was such a simple question, but it was exactly what I needed. I remember that I do in fact have another friend who has sort of functioned as a mentor in this arena of my life, my digital marketing business. And so I got on a call with him and just vomited all of my fears and insecurities to him. But within a few short minutes, like all good mentors, he addressed my concerns, reminded me of my competencies, and then filled in some very important gaps in my knowledge. And so at the end of our short call, I had a game plan and was feeling much more confident than before. And so I proceeded to have the meeting with a potential client. Now, to be clear, I was still a little nervous going into that meeting, but I no longer felt overwhelmed. And more importantly, I knew that my team and I could actually deliver quality service to the client if I was able to convince them to work with our company. Now, this whole process taught me a few things. Number one, the power of community and mentors. No matter what you do in life, you need a community of others doing the same thing. More specifically, within that community, you need people who are slightly ahead of you. A few years ago, when my relationship with my former music record label disintegrated and fell apart, I went into a season of my life that I would describe as my I don't need anyone era. For the years afterwards, I felt like I couldn't trust anyone and I had to learn and do everything by myself. And this was a double-edged sword, right? It had the positive effect of making me proactive and a quick learner, but it also had the negative consequence of isolating me and really stifling my growth in many ways. I did achieve some career progress, but I didn't have anyone close who I could look to for support and questions when I needed it. But in recent years, I have been reminded that this is the path to nowhere fast. Confidence is one thing, and that's very necessary in business and entrepreneurship. The ability to believe in yourself and go after something and get it done. But it's simply arrogant to think that you can figure it all out and do it all on your own. Every high achiever, every successful entrepreneur is part of communities, think tanks, masterminds, and things of that nature. Every high achiever has coaches and mentors who have been where they currently are. And leaning on their mentors, these high achievers save money and, more importantly, time. They skip paying a lot of ignorance tax by simply looking at the bill that their mentors have already paid. If you don't know what ignorance tax is just an expression used to describe the amount of money and time you spend trying to learn something that you have not been previously exposed to. Whenever you start a new venture, there will be a period of time where you have to get up to speed and gain competence, and you will spend money and time in the process of trying to get up to speed and increasing your knowledge and your skill. So ignorance tax is just that period of time where you're training and becoming better at a skill that you did not previously have. And so every high achiever who has a mentor is able to skip paying a lot of ignorance tax because they simply look at the bill that their mentors have already paid. And so in a moment of anxiety and confusion, my mentor saw a clear path that I was blind to. Why? Because he had already been there before. And so I ask you, do you have a mentor? Whatever stage of life you're in, or whatever it is you're trying to do you have someone or a group of people who have been where you are? Number 2, lessons learned and confidence built. At this point, even though it would be a big plus to my business, it also kind of doesn't matter if I get this client. And here's what I mean. This was also my first time solo pitching a brand this big. So of course I was nervous. I had previously worked on the fulfillment side of delivering the service, but I had never worked on the sales and pitching side. And like all new things, it's always scary the first time you do it. And so I went into that meeting nervous, but still armed with my game plan. And you know what I discovered after that meeting? Eight-figure brands, $10 million plus companies are run by humans. Yes, humans just like me and you. Even at that level of success, there are things they don't know that I do. There are capabilities they need that I and my team have. They, like me, are on a quest to keep learning and growing. And this was somewhat of a revelation to me that even at that size, even at that level, there are things that they don't know that I do. And so through this whole process, I also learned new practical skills in sales and negotiation. So even though I don't officially have the client, if training on pitching a $10 million plus business is all I got from this interaction, I think it was well worth it. The next time I get such an opportunity, I'm more prepared and will probably feel less overwhelmed and more confident. And this reminds me of a somewhat cliche but true statement. The journey is the reward. Now, in the end, even though the potential client ended up choosing going with another agency, the training and confidence boost from that sales meeting was my reward from this experience. Closing the client would have been a bonus, but alas, I know there will be more opportunities in the future. If you found this video helpful, then you know what to do. Like, comment, share with a friend, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shope, recording artist and entrepreneur. And my entire mission with this channel is to share everything that I'm learning as I go through life, both as a creative and as an entrepreneur, in the hopes of helping fellow creatives like myself think, act, and succeed like entrepreneurs. Now, if you want more content like this, be sure to check out this video for more content and this for some great music. I'll see you next time. Peace.
I'll admit it. Yeah, I get it. You been holding me down for a minute.